News is the first draft of history. It is immediate and takes place in real time. Legends take longer to develop and are sometimes based on myth. This Fox News series looks at the truth behind the legend.
With his faithful Indian companion, the daring and resourceful rider led the fight for law and order. From out of a time when the West needed a hero come the thundering hoofbeats of the great silver horse and the true story of the legendary lawman. The fictional character of radio captured the hearts and minds of people of all ages. But now, for the first time, from the pages of history, overriding the legends and lies, we bring you the true story of the Wild West greatest champion of justice, the real Lone Ranger.
On the North American plains, opportunity calls men of courage to chase the sun west into a new frontier. They would shape a nation, lay hold of their destiny, and birth a new mythology. But with the passing of time, every myth has its reckoning. The Lone Ranger, the pure and righteous lawman, a symbol of truth and justice in an untamed land. For nearly a century, this enduring icon has shaped our image of law and order in the Wild West. But behind every mask stands a man, and behind every legend lies the truth.
The Lone Ranger, made famous on radio and TV, is a straight-shooting hero in a black-and-white world of good and evil, and a fictional, idealized version of a real Western legend. But the truth is, the Lone Ranger is likely based on a man who fights for law and order on the Western frontier. This remarkable man lives by the same unshakable code, rides a white horse, and even works with a Native American sidekick. But many have never heard of this true hero of the real West, a deputy U.S. Marshal named Bass Reeves.
Nowhere in the pages of history can one find a greater defender of the law. Return with us now to those thrilling days of yesteryear, when from out of the past,
10 years after the Civil War, as the nation stitches itself back together, chaos rules the Indian Territory, the most dangerous place in the Wild West. But Deputy U.S. Marshal Bass Reeves fights for the rule of law.
What's it gonna be? Come on here, boy.
The Lone Ranger symbolizes the protagonist of the American Western.
Get in there!
But yet, people don't know who he is. The Lone Ranger closely resembles the career of Bass Reeves.
Like the Lone Ranger, Bass Reeves is a figure of mystery. But where the fictional hero chooses to hide his identity with a mask, Bass Reeves' name and face have been overlooked and obscured by history.
Bass Reeves, the new deputy?
Yes, sir.
Bass Reeves is one of only a few dozen deputy marshals who serve the federal court and jail in Fort Smith, Arkansas, a place that more than earns the name Hell on the Border. These men are charged with keeping the peace in the new home of the so-called 5 civilized tribes forced out of the southeastern states.
The Indian Removal Act took place. A lot of the tribes were removed to Oklahoma. Indian Territory is what it was called at the time. It was a diseased and awful place to be.
It was a very dangerous area. There were criminal elements that would go into that area simply to escape the law, and the law wouldn't follow unless you were deputy U.S. Marshals.
There's a new warrant for you. That there's a bad man. You best take a couple engines with you.
Won't need but one.
No other place at any time is as deadly to U.S. Marshals as the Indian Territory in the late 19th century. It's estimated that outlaws outnumber marshals there more than 300 to 1. Just like the Lone Ranger, Bass Reeves frequently rides into this dangerous land with just one man to back him up. A member of the Light Horse, the mounted police of the 5 civilized tribes.
Like the Lone Ranger and Tonto, Bass Reeves and his Light Horse possemen patrol a vast, wild country teeming with outlaws. Whiskey is illegal in the Indian Territory, but smuggling is rampant and profitable. As a deputy U.S. Marshal, Reeves is often tasked with bringing bootleggers to justice.
Whoa!
Like the Lone Ranger, Bass Reeves tries to apprehend criminals without violence.
I got a powerful thirst.
He depends on the cunning Light Horse to help him gain an advantage using surprise.
I got a cure for what ails you. $12. Hold it right there!
Bass Reeves was the lawman that all outlaws did not want to meet. Reeves was a cunning man. He was a wildly intelligent man and able to do things that no other marshal was able to do. Like the Lone Ranger, he was determined to always get his man.
There are many parallels between Bass Reeves and the Lone Ranger. They were for justice, law and order. The Lone Ranger was on a mission to bring in the bad guys. And there's something about the man behind the mask. This gave him a little bit of an aura of mystery, I think.
Though Bass Reeves doesn't wear a literal mask, his identity remains a mystery for many. Few outlaws see him for who he truly is, until it's too late.
Yeah, we got you now, boy. Get him in.
It's my horse! What are you doing?
Quit moving, boy.
Let me go! I didn't do anything!
I already told you, I bought this horse. I didn't know that it was stolen.
Well, we say you stole it. We're the only law around here.
When the West desperately needs the strong arm of the law, a man with a badge stands up for justice, revealing a true American hero.
And who the hell are you?
And unmasking a legend.
U.S. Marshal Bass Reeves.